Yesterday, I was taking a walk with our dog, and I noticed that there was a new neighbor. I noticed him. He was walking down his driveway, right around the front of his house, and he had one crutch, and he had like some kind of a brace or something on his leg, and he was across the street, right? And so I'm when I'm out in anywhere, if there is a human, or an animal that comes into my awareness, I'm going to acknowledge them. I mean, how many times you walk by somebody and they don't make eye contact, and even if a person is walking right by me, they're not making eye contact. When I get to them, I say hi, and then they're like, oh hi, and because they're like they're taking it out of their trance.
Yes.
Okay, so I saw him and I waved to him and I said, how are you? And I had never spoken to this guy before. He's a new neighbor. And he had no idea that I lived, right around the corner from there. And he goes, I'm doing much better. And I said, I'm sending you healing vibes right now. And he said, thank you.
Wow.
And this was across the street.
Wow.
And I just walked away from that feeling so good. And, that I could make a difference in someone's life in that moment. Hi, I'm Deborah.
And I'm Deanna.
And today we're here to talk about more of how we're reprogramming our own thoughts and in real life and creating the lives that we want. And we're so excited to be here again with you. And
what I want to say is that we're showing you in real time just how you can change your life just by shifting your thoughts into what was maybe egoic, passive aggressive, the masculine dominated world. Now we're shifting into heart coherence, coming from our heart, loving ourselves, and how we do that in real time by becoming aware of your thoughts.
Yes, exactly. And changing the way you used to do things, creating new habits. And one of the biggest things to do is to detach from mainstream.
Yes.
And so that's you can look at it like it's a whole different reality.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. I'm not a part of that. I want to do what is best for me and all of the people in my life. And then with the extra energy that I have to offer it to my community.
Well, and it's a ripple effect anyway.
Yeah.
When you're doing what feels really good to you, the people around you are going to feel it. And those people are going to start changing. And then the people that they're around, that's going to start changing. And it's like you're tuning into the frequency of the world, the elevated frequency of the world, which is now the Age of Aquarius, and coming from the divine feminine, which is about unity, compassion, heart coherence, feeling really good, and uplifting yourself. And when you uplift yourself, you uplift others.
Yeah. So let's talk about just when you see someone or you're in relationship with someone who is in the old paradigm, and instead of judging them or trying to change them, that you go into your heart. And I find this action, this one action of putting my hand or my hands on my heart and taking a breath. So when you have a judgment, okay, so that is like the old programming.
I have an example of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I sent a short to a friend of mine, and she wrote back, he's such an oddball. And I took it that, that's not really nice to say about somebody, oddball, you're an oddball. and I said, oh, he is so brilliant. And it completely changed the energy of our texting conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Really, it's really quick.
And not taking it personally and going into victim mode and, I shouldn't have sent her that, or, it's all my fault, or,
When I think of even 5 years ago, I was very hesitant about sending a text message in fear of how they would receive it. Because as you know, in text messaging, it's difficult to get the feeling of the person. So that's why I don't do texting conversations. That's a rule, that's a boundary that I've set with everybody. You know, if we've gone back and forth 2 times, 3 times, I'll be like, let's talk.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
Let's hear the inflection. Let's hear the energy. And you just have a completely different perception of what the person is saying, where they're coming from, and it completely changes the energy.
Yeah. So there's one that keeps coming to mind for me is that there are still people who are wearing masks. You know, and it's very few people. And so instead of judging them and saying what is wrong with them or, you know, just going into compassion and knowing that they're in so much fear.
And I said that to a friend that she said especially when their kids are in the car and she speaks out loud about, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're still doing that. And she was very negative and judgmental. Her kids are like, it doesn't feel good.
But they didn't know to say that. Like they were just
like, Mom, you know,
yeah.
Come on. And I told her, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, when I see someone with a mask on, I just feel so much love and compassion for them because they're so afraid. They're living their life in fear.
Yeah. And so when you think about how our thoughts are so powerful, you know, and they are a frequency that you're going into compassion and love for that person so that energy is coming out of you and they're receiving that and that will help them to come out of the fear mode. So yesterday I was taking a walk with our dog and I noticed that there was a new neighbor. I noticed him. He was walking down his driveway, you know, right around the front of his house, and he had one crutch and he had like some kind of a brace or something on his leg, and he was across the street, right? And so I'm when I'm out in anywhere, you know, if there is a human, you know, or an animal that comes into my awareness, I'm going to acknowledge them. I mean, how many times you walk by somebody and they don't make eye contact, and even if a person is walking right by me, they're not making eye contact. When I get to them, I say hi, you know, and then they're like, oh hi, you know, and because they're like they're taking it out of their trance.
Yes.
Okay, so I saw him and I waved to him and I said, how are you? And I had never spoken to this guy before. He's a new neighbor. And he had no idea that I lived, you know, right around the corner from there. And he goes, I'm doing much better. And I said, I'm sending you healing vibes right now. And he said, thank you.
Wow.
And this was across the street.
Wow.
And I just walked away from that feeling so good. And, you know, that I could make a difference in someone's life in that moment.
And it was so easy.
It was so easy.
Yeah, you know,
Like
all we want is to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
We want, you know, I'm a human being. You know, I'm like, we're in, like, that's the unity. That's the unity.
Yeah.
Is feeling that we are all one. We're all one. We're all connected.
Yeah. And we say that a lot. And this is the way that we're all connected, because you can look at somebody who you can see is they're going through a hard time. Mm-hmm. You know, it's so visible that they're going through a hard time, and just smile and say, you know, like think to yourself, I love you.
Yes.
I love you.
Yes.
You know, and you don't even have to verbalize that, but just say, I love you. Whereas if I had said, oh, that looks so painful, or, oh my gosh, what did you do? You know, like instead
we don't want to talk about it.
No.
We want to talk about the healing.
Yes.
Because that's the vibration that we want to be in.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't matter how it happened to you.
Yeah.
I don't need to know the story.
Yes.
It's a story.
Yes.
And everything happens for a reason.
Yes. And another really great phrase that I have embodied is, it's his journey.
Yes.
You know, and he's going to learn something from this experience that he's had, you know, and it's
instead
his
of feeling
journey.
sorry for him.
Yes.
Or, you know, just like feeling sorry for somebody is disrespectful.
Yeah.
I remember reading that. Oh my gosh. I'll never forget the first time I read that. It was in Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements. I mean, that's a book that is a lifetime book. You can revisit it anytime. And I remember seeing that, like, when you feel sorry for a person, you're disrespecting them. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, first of all, whatever you give out comes back to you. So if you're giving out disrespect by saying, oh, I feel sorry for you.
Poor you,
Stop.
Yeah.
Because that's going to come back to you.
Yes.
Remember that. Let that stick in your head. What you give out comes back to you. So if you're giving love, if you're feeling compassion, that's what you're going to get back.
Yeah. And it's those everyday little things.
Yeah. So it's so powerful.
It is. And so we did something very different this year. Yes. And so, we have been trained and programmed to celebrate our birthdays. And that's a whole, like a whole paradigm, right? And so I had seen an interview with the musician Prince, and it was from 1999. And the subject of birthdays came up, and he said, he goes, we really only have one birthday. And that's the day we were born. So no, I don't feed into that. I don't celebrate my birthdays because that's how, that's one of the reasons why I stay looking so young. And
it's because of the construct of the number.
Yeah. Okay. So
there's so many things I want to say about that. One is, I do want to say that he also said, which I found so fascinating because not many people say this, is that I'm going to celebrate the day I leave.
Yeah.
The day I die.
That's going to get, yes.
Yeah. And so we're not going to talk about age anymore. We're not going to talk about age, how old we are, because think about it. Like if you say, oh, that person, they just turned 85, what is the first image that comes to your mind?
They're dying. They're going to be dying.
They only have 5 years or maybe not even.
And then some people that are that age will say, oh, every joint in my body hurts because I'm old. Right. That's because they think that they're old because they've been told that as
when you become 85 or, in your 80s.
certain number. Yeah.
You are old. And I've had people in their 60s tell me that they're old. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I am. There's no cell in my body that feels that I'm old.
Yeah. At all. And so we're actually programming our own bodies to age with our thoughts.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So what did we do?
Because your thoughts manifest your reality.
Yes. Yeah.
So what did we do?
What did we do that was different?
So
we decided that we were going to, get together and celebrate because we, came in the same birthday, right?
So came in the same day.
Yeah. And so we reframed it and we titled it or labeled it our MeDays, our MeDay. Okay. So we had a little sleepover at your house and we woke up and did our morning nutrition routine. And then I said, I want to take a hot tub. And so we went in your hot tub. And it was a rainy day, and the sun came out when we were in the hot tub.
We love the sun.
Yeah, and we did some breath work, and we relaxed, and I think we even listened to something, and we were just enjoying it. Shortly after we got out of the hot tub, the sun went in. For the rest of the day. But, it was because of our energy, and being in the moment, in the flow.
Yes.
Instead of thinking, oh, no, I should be doing this or that, or we should be doing that, or, and
I should be having a party.
Yeah. And not only do we put that pressure on ourselves, but other people in our lives. You're like, oh, next week's my birthday.
I need a present.
I called my son that morning and I just wanted to hear his voice. And he said, Mom, I'm talking to somebody right now. Can I, I'm talking. And I said, would you give me a call back later? It's, today is my me day, but I did say birthday so that, because I was speaking in his language, in his terms. And he was like, oh, wow. And it wasn't like, you forgot my birthday? How could you forget my, so that pressure, I called my daughter. And she said that, she had wanted to do so many things. And we had planned that she was coming over and making our dinner for us, right? And she said, I wanted to do this and that, and I didn't get it done. And I wanted to go to the store. I'm like, honey, we changed it, remember? No pressure. So you don't have to do any of that. All you need to do is come over to Aunt Deanna's, and we're just going to celebrate together.
Yes.
And the fact that you're making us dinner, and we had everything there.
Yes.
And she just came in and put it all together for us.
Yes.
And that's what we did. And we have a special fruit that we eat for special occasions, which is the durian fruit.
Yes.
And it's a tropical fruit that is not grown anywhere here in the U.S. and
It's in Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia. And so it's a very high vibrational fruit.
Yes.
And so we had that at the end of the day, and you had put on some drumming music, and I was so energized. You know, it was that moment, you know, in being in the flow, and we were all so happy because there was no pressure, no obligation.
And we both, and we all love this fruit.
Yeah.
It's called durian.
Yeah.
I think we should share that because it has so many healing qualities as well.
It does.
And I do want to share that I decided that that's going to be my celebration on every MeDay. And I told Deborah, I said, we have to do this more than once a year.
Yeah.
And last year I was in California with my son and his family, and I went to the Asian store, which was like 45 minutes away, and I bought the durian fruit, and I was so excited to share it with them. And it is a stinky, like it's a very pungent smell. And we learned that, or Sam, it was an intuitive hit for Sam, or she might have a fact about this, is that the less more toxins that you have in your body, the stinkier it smells. Right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I had put it in the outdoor fridge in my son's garage, and we had gone out to the fridge at the same time to get something. And I opened the fridge door, and he starts going. I'm like, "What is it, Ryan?" He's looking at his hot water heater. He's like, I think I smell gas. And I just started laughing, and I'm like, that's the durian fruit, darling, that we're having for dessert tonight. And he was just like so repulsed, dramatic. And he was like, oh, you know, and then after dinner, I brought it in, and not only he, my daughter-in-law, their nanny, and my husband were like, ooh, you know, it smells awful. And they tasted it, and the nanny even spit it out and just like gagged. And I didn't enjoy it.
It ruined your whole experience.
It ruined the whole experience. Mm-hmm. And so I was really excited that, and it's the love. I want to talk about the love and the energy that you put into what you're eating, or, you know, and that I felt the difference. I really enjoyed at this time. And it was so celebratory for the three of us to have this durian fruit, and completely different experience than last year. And the last thing I want to say about our MeDay dinner was that Sam, her daughter, everything that she makes, she puts so much love into.
Yeah, she's very mindful.
She really enjoys it, and she's very mindful. So that's what you taste. You're tasting the love in the food. And so that's why I can't go to fast food restaurants. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not the same. Like, it's just like, I'm not going to put something in my body that's not going to energize me, that's not going to feel really good in my body. So it's the energy. It's the energy with which you do everything that you feel and people feel.
And you get to change things. You know, you don't have to follow tradition anymore.
No.
You know, because the tradition doesn't feel good.
No.
It doesn't feel good at all.
No.
And that's obligation. And I remember I made a conscious decision. It was at least 30 years ago that I was not going to get into that.
You were not going to do something you felt obligated to do.
Yes. I gave
no
up
longer going to
obligation.
Do that.
So
because of the energy.
Yeah, because of the energy of it. And that was before I really woke up and could feel energy. And that's been one of my goals since my daughter was born, is to feel energy. And it was her presence and her birth that opened up the door for me. And she embodies it. And so she's so different different than anyone else that I know
Yes.
because she is so mindful and she moves more slowly. And I'm like, her dad and I are the total opposite of that. And so because it was so different and because she's my daughter, I wanted to honor and respect that about her. So she never fit into mainstream.
No.
Ever. And she's okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we want to leave you with this, that really think about, if you want to change things in your life, that you've got to change, and you got to change your energy. And how do you change your energy is by changing your thoughts.
And changing your habits.
And changing your habits and creating new habits.
Just talk real quick about when your friend from Aruba called to wish you a happy birthday, and how he and his wife had watched our podcast. And go ahead.
So you guys know I'm going to be talking about you right now. So they said, we tried that, and they were giggling.
Tried what?
Oh, we tried switching sides of the bed. Because they've been married 40 years and they've always slept on the same side of the bed.
And you had done that. Yeah.
Yes. And I had done this years ago, but I'm going to do it again. I'll let you know how it goes. But my husband's very enthusiastic about it because he knows what it feels like. So they said, we tried it. We went on we laid on the other side of the bed, the opposite side of the bed for about half an hour. And I'm like, you guys, you got to do it for a whole night. You got to do it for 3 nights, and just see how it feels.
Yeah.
Get out of your comfort zone. If it feels uncomfortable, anything that feels uncomfortable, it's a sign that you are expanding, a sign that you are growing. And that's why we're here, to evolve, to expand, and to grow into the powerful, loving human beings that we are in this vehicle during this time. And so one thing that Deborah and I have been able to do is we've had support from each other, and we've coached each other, because one of us will be 10 steps ahead, and Deborah, one of us will coach the other one catches up, the other one goes ahead. And so we are always shifting, we're always changing, and we're always coaching each other on how to change.
Yes. And so we have a very exciting program that we're going to be launching in 2 weeks, because we have been able to do that for each other and for our clients
and it's
through the years.
invaluable.
Yes, invaluable. So we have a coaching program that we're going to share. And if you're ready to take control of your life and be the person that you are here to become and to be, that you'll take a look at our coaching program. We're going to announce it in 2 weeks, and we're so excited. We want to do and help and coach everyone else the way we've been able to coach each other.
Yes.
Because it works.
And and then you'll be able to see the changes immediately. I mean, our producers changed, our the other 2 women have changed, and there was like 3 other women that have talked about our podcast and that their lives are changing because of it.
Yes. So our coaching program.
Coaching.
Yep. It's going to be here. It's going to be available. And thank you so much for being here.
We love you all.
Yes.
And we can't wait to hear. Leave in the comments how your life is changing by just listening to this podcast. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye now.